na zoom do 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 de 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 ropa dum ba dum mana mana na zoom na mana mana mana.
Well, good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome to Pop's FBR. Today, we're going to lock up our little project of putting the big tank into the little tank. Here's the tee that we're going to be using right here. Got it off of eBay. And you see that it has the tee. It has two boots that go on either side of it, that 1.5 inches that fit in the 2008 F350, and gives you clamps to go with the boots and one to go with the line. And now that's a valve that comes off of the big tank. We're not going to be using that valve. My tank came with a operational valve, and so the no need for using that valve. You can see down there where the valve is right there. I'll turn it. You see it's still operational. No big deal. But you can see where we've drilled a hole into the bed right there to get the line that's going down in the 66-gallon steel tank. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, we'll get under here and take a look at it. There's my fill pipe. It comes from the side. There's the vent side of it over there, and here's the fill side of it over here. You see there's where we've put the new aux line coming through, and we're going to put insulation around that. Here is where the fellow that owned this truck before me, he had one in here, obviously. And so here's the splice line, and we're going to put that T that we showed you a second ago in there. All right, well, I'm gonna pull that out and show it to you here in a second. Okay, so we've got the boot off of it right there. I've got replacement boots, and the owner before me was a hotshot driver, so he had his booted in right here somehow. And I think he had a bigger connection because look at this hole that's back here in the bed. I mean, that's a pretty big hole. Considering that's mine right there. And I'm going to be using a bubble valve. And the bubble ball valve pops up when this pipe gets full. So I've got 1.5 inches. Got 1.5 inches T I'm going to put in here. We're going to do that next. Okay, so here's the 1.5 inches T, and there is the bubble valve. And the bubble valve comes through this 1/4 inch. Actually, I think it's a little larger than that. Not quite a 1/4 inch line. And this is where all the fuel from that big tank comes down through it and then joins into the line here. When this line fills up, then the bubble comes up and it stops it right here. And so as long as this tube is full, then that bubble will be up against the valve and it won't overflow your tank. So now, I guess the next thing we got to make sure you do is you make sure and get your different clamps over your splices before you get it in there, or you have to pull everything apart. So make sure and get all your clamps on, not tight, but get them on there before you tighten everything up. That'll be our next view here. One other item, just so you'll be aware of it, when I go down in here underneath there, you want to make sure that this is vertical, because the bubble, of course, is going to come up and down, and if you got it slanted, it won't shut off as well. Make sure when you get it set in there and the hose is on it, that your line is as vertical as you can make it. And there's not a lot of clearance in there, but there is clearance. And so make sure that it's all vertical so that bubble valve will function properly. Okay, so we got the T in there, and you'll see that the the bubble valve up on top. See if you can see it there. Can't quite get in. There you go. There's the top of it. See, the bubble valve is up there against the bed, and it's in a vertical position for the T. Okay, and so here's a view from straight underneath. Get my hand out of the way, and you'll see that each one of these unions have been tightened, and so the 1.5-inch line, it's just a little bit. It wasn't quite as snug as I like it to fit inside the tube that comes straight off of the tank. You see the tank is, I'm gonna tip it up here. You can see there's the tank. I guess you can't tell much on that. Sorry about that. But nevertheless, there's the T as it comes in there, and it didn't quite get as snug on there initially, but this tightened down really well, and I believe it is. I don't believe it'll leak since we put it on there dry. So it should be good. This one, the little splice over here, I used one of the old clamps here. They were actually a little bit better clamp than what came with the kit, and I got this kit off of eBay. And it was about, I didn't get the cheapest one, I didn't get the most expensive one. I wanted the tube up here to be a little bit larger than what it is, but it's going to work okay. You'll notice I put an AN10 union right there. I just wanted to make sure that that had a little bit of protection on there. So I'm going to tighten these all down with a nut driver, make sure everything is nice and snug here. One last thing is I put a little loop on it here so it has some flexibility. I'm going to zip tie right here so that it has a smooth flow all the way through. I've seen some of these things online where guys have taken this and they've gone straight out of this hole right here. Speaking of zip ties, you're in my way, boy. Come straight out of this hole, try to do a 90 and a 90 in there, and then you wind up with a kink in this line. And so I just made a loop, and I'm going to make a zip tie right there so where it is a nice smooth run. Then I'm going to use lap seal like you use on an RV. You center this right in the middle of that, and then fill that with lap seal, and then that'll insulate it from the metal, and it'll also keep it from dripping through and rusting right there. I have a small little bitty hole right there for any drainage that need to take place if for any reason. That was actually a pilot hole. That was actually not in the right position that I wanted it to do. I'd like to say that I planned it that way, but I didn't. But you just put a little pilot hole in there. If it doesn't work, then you move it over a little bit, and that's where I wound up. Did a graduated drill to punch that hole through right there. And so there we're done, and we'll take a look at as I'm underneath here. Well, that was a kind of an ugly shot, so I thought I'd get out. Probably scared the crap out of you. But anyway, it took probably about 30 to 45 minutes to install it. I tried to do some other variant things, like I tried to put another insert in there. There's just not enough room underneath there. So I decided I would just go ahead and clamp it down real tight, and we should be good to get all that done. And should not drip. I'll come back and give you an update on it if it does drip, and I might want to put some kind of a rubber ring around that one end, so the one that comes off of the pipe that goes into the tank, into the tank that's in the truck, the original tank. And if it does leak, that's going to be where it leaks. So we'll see how it goes. I don't anticipate it, but that's how you get it done. Real simple one here. Thanks for joining me here on Pops FBR. We'll see you on the next time. Thanks for subscribing. All you new people want to subscribe, make sure and subscribe down here and put a thumbs up. I'd like to hear your comments on all the videos, and keep up the comments. We appreciate it. See you next time on Pop's Mother Road FB.